Oh, hello there. Hey, Homeworthy. I'm Skylar.
I'm Temi.
And welcome to our Brooklyn townhouse. Why don't you come on in?
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
I'm Temi.
I'm Skylar. We're both multidisciplinary artists,
Yep.
so we do a wide variety of things.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot of luxury content marketing across lifestyle, home, fashion. Content. Yeah, and I feel like we've been, go ahead.
Creative direction.
Yep, creative direction, consultation work on the brand end. We're just both big lovers of art and poetry, and so we do everything we can to infuse that into our work.
Yeah.
We are currently in Brooklyn, New York. We're both born and raised in Georgia, actually. His family's from Nigeria.
Yours is Barbados. Only, 30 minutes away from each other?
Absolutely. We grew
Georgia?
up 30 minutes away from each other in
Without
Georgia.
knowing.
Had no idea until we met. And yeah, we've been together ever since. I've been here about maybe 7
years. I've been here about 6 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I've been in New York for 11 years, and Tami's been here for 6 years. So this is the entryway into our home, and one of the most integral parts, in my opinion, because it is the first thing people see, and first impressions are everything.
Everything.
Absolutely. So we were actually thinking a lot about how, when it came to people entering the space, how kind of uncomfortable it might be to be immediately greeted by the back of our couch. So we decided to greet people with our conversation pieces, our coffee table books.
And our coffee table books really speak to us and who we are as individuals.
Yeah.
You'll find a wide
Everything,
array,
honestly, everything. We've got Black Futures.
Outside the Frame,
Yep.
Mark Thames and Hudson. We have our friend Joe Kenneth there at the bottom.
Absolutely. Tyler Mitchell's I Can Make You Feel Good, Black Futures, of course, Black Fashion Fair. It was our first edition, and so it's still in the plastic, still in the acrylic box. We're not playing games.
Not taking that out until 2062.
We'll give it to our kids as kids.
Yeah.
We also have Afro Atlantic, Writing the Future with Basquiat and the Hip Hop Future Generation.
We have some Hayao Miyazaki over there. We are both big Studio Ghibli fans.
Absolutely. Big Japanese, anime, storytelling, craft fan. So because of Studio Ghibli, Hayao Miyazaki was an easy choice to have.
Too easy.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Totoro.
Absolutely. And then so we also have a piece by Maya Beverly. She's my cousin and also a brilliant artist. We wanted sculpture and color to play into the space, just to, again, add texture in a really fun way.
Yeah, I really wanted, your visual senses to be well fed when you walk through the door.
And to give you something to talk about, we are yappers, but just in case we run out of things to say, we have books to talk about. Let the people know we're well read. We're well read. And then on this side of the entry, because we haven't painted all of our downstairs area.
Well, this one is by my favorite artist.
You like her?
Yeah, she's great. Love her, actually.
Well, it's me. That's why. Love arts and crafts. Tami loves me, so he lets me play around and put things up in our home. You'll see another piece that I've also done as we move through the space. But we wanted something that, again, was really big, larger than life, welcoming as people walked into the space. And so it's really just homey, because we have this piece that I've created, and then also a vintage bench that we sourced. And then just a lot of organic pieces that play into the space to make it feel fun and at home.
Yep.
So as we move into the living room area, we have our favorite couch by Sarah Ellison.
Skylar wanted a conversation pit in our home.
I wanted a conversation pit so badly.
And I was like, we're not going to drill into the floor of this home. But this is literally the next best thing. I mean, you want to sit down in it?
Absolutely. We have to show them the full.
You can get so deep in it. It doubles as a bed, a couch.
It has been used as a bed to my...
An actual conversation pit.
It was tough, but
that's nice.
We knew that this was something that was an easy add because it's super timeless, and then also something that people could feel really comfortable
People love this couch.
Yeah, it's definitely a focal piece of the space. We actually started with this couch and we just decided to build. So you'll see a lot of pieces from our Nordic knots rug. The coloring is really fun. We also have this really dope side chair that Tami is obsessed with.
Yeah.
Yeah, What did
my
you say
favorite.
it reminds you of? Like the front of a car.
An old school Chevy.
Yeah, absolutely, which is like really vibey. And you'll see a lot of textures kind of playing into the space in a fun way.
Yeah, this one's beautiful too from Anthropology.
Absolutely.
This is our plant.
The love of the love of Temi's life. He's put
Basil.
so much life into this plant. I will call out too, Temi and I love to travel, and when we travel, the biggest way we pass our time outside of reading and taking lots of cute pictures is actually by playing chess.
Yeah, I actually started playing chess in middle school and I never stopped there. It's just a great way to have conversation, keep your brain active.
He loves to beat me, so I don't know. That's why he likes
she's
to play
getting
chess,
better.
because
She's
he
getting
knows
so
he's
much
really
better.
good. And then above our chess and side table, which I actually think this is a great example too of like both of our energies coming into the space, because it's functional but also beautiful. You can play with it.
The
it's
Dame
a
Moore
conversation
right
piece.
overhead.
And then we have our Dame Moore piece. We have a couple of pieces by this artist in our space, but it just has so much personality and like fun energy that it adds to this room, along with a lot of the shapes. So we have like this really funky lamp in this corner that also kind of plays off of some of the sculpture that we have on our side table that people often will lean onto, rest their drinks on, all the things. As we move into the center of the room, this is actually a Christmas decoration that Temi hasn't said anything about. So
I love it. Yeah, no, do your thing.
Okay,
It's
good.
actually beautiful.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
I'm so glad we could come. I waited to breach it during this video. So
Just so many things you can choose from. Let's start at the bottom. We recently visited the Alvin Ailey exhibit at the Whitney Museum.
yeah.
Wow.
Blew our minds.
So good.
Obsessed.
What an exhibit.
And I told Temi I'm leaving here with something. Every time we leave a museum, I need a book to add to our collection.
And that's how you know it's a good exhibit, when you're
Yeah.
touched to the point that you want to take some of it home.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we ended up doing that. And then we have some prints from some of our
Favorite
good
artists
friends. Yeah.
and great friends. So we knew that it was important for us to create and collect and curate Black art in our home that was of creators who are still alive, so that we can give them their flowers now.
Clennon, we have Tayo Kuku Jr.
We have Dante Maurice and Ahmad Barber for Black Fashion Fair.
We
Just
have
a really
Jordan
striking
Blake.
piece. Jordan
Yeah.
Blake with our friend CJ in it. I think these pieces just add so much storytelling to the space.
Yeah.
Like such great texture and I don't know. There's just so much about it that adds to what we have going on here.
And you feel the skill in what they do and the intention as well. They're
Absolutely.
all legendary photographers. And
Yeah.
I just can't wait to see what they continue to build from here.
For sure. And then, of course, I have to shout her out again, Maya Beverly. This piece by Maya is also a brilliant piece. She just does a really good job of capturing the essence of like a feeling in her pieces. And I think this really just grounds the media cabinet in a really great way. This is actually from Target, and then I painted it because I love to give things new life. So we have a mix of a lot of new pieces and vintage pieces. For instance, this bowl, which we thrifted, that again, I'm just a texture girl. I love anything that adds a little flavor to the space.
So what we're wearing today, I have a thrifted bowed top
Nice.
from 2nd Street. I have jeans from Honor the Gift, Russell Westbrook's band, big OKC fan, so only natural.
Loves to put on, yeah.
I have a Larvie watch from Germany.
Which we fought tooth and nail to get a hold of. It was
Yeah,
tough.
had to get it through customs and everything, but well worth it. Oura ring, big about my health. Fossil watch ring.
Simwero. And Omi Woods. Yep, such a good balance. And then for me, this is actually a skirt I thrifted while we were in Japan. We have been to Japan 3 times in the last year span alone. We love it there.
We love Japan. It feels like home.
Yeah, absolutely. And we spent a lot of money there, and a lot of it is clothes. And then my top is from Febin, also on Essence. I just love how artsy it is. It's like adds so much flavor to my look, and there's so many ruffles and crinkles, and it just is so full of life.
Yeah,
so
it
I
makes
love
you
it
the
so
art
much.
that you are.
Oh, period. Gas me up. And then for my rings, I also have Simwero, Greece, New York, which is based here in Brooklyn, as well as Cal, and then some thrifted pieces as well.
What about the earrings?
Oh, and my earrings are from Ferris Jewelry and Justine Clonquet. And my little fur slippers are actually from Steve Madden. How fun are they? You know, she's comfortable, she's chic, but she's comfortable in her home. Yeah, absolutely. So we met on Instagram.
It was
nothing I could have ever imagined would ever happen.
Yeah. It was a warm fall night. You know, I was scrolling.
Not a warm fall night. I love that you have these adjectives ready to go.
I was scrolling and I'm like, no, I was. I'd seen a friend's repost of it.
Reposted me on a trip. Yes.
Yeah, and I was just like, who is this? Like,
he was a ham. And he slid in my DMs and he called me Muse. And that's how you get my attention. I like being called, something beautiful. So when I saw him in my DMs, I was like, who's this handsome man? We went back and forth. We started to share our love for like music and food and, art and
culture.
Yeah,
everything.
I think the reason he ended up really snagging me is because he made me a playlist. Within the first 5 minutes of us going back and forth, he was like, I'm gonna make you a playlist. And it was curated and had my name at the top. And I was like, who do you do this for? Is this just me? Or am I special? I convinced him to move to New York. He thought I was gonna move back to Atlanta with him.
We were long distance for a year.
Absolutely.
And so then I moved from DC to Atlanta because I was like, I'm convinced her to come back to Atlanta with me.
I don't know what he thought. New York is the city of dreams, baby. I wasn't going anywhere.
I was in New York for a few months and then it was wraps.
Yeah, it was wraps. I just think we found so many beautiful aspects of our relationship in this city together. So it's so easy for us to kind of fall into step. And we've been together for 6.5 years and we're locked in right now.
Ready for 7.
Absolutely.
So we love to host. Again,
Absolutely.
When
Big
friends come
host.
over, we want them to feel like they're actually at home. When you come into the space, the first thing you see is our prized possession.
Yeah, our Arnold Butler piece. It was the first piece that the first pieces of art we've ever bought.
Yeah, it was commissioned.
Yeah, we commissioned it from Arnold. He is just a brilliant artist based out of Atlanta. So that was also great to be able to kind of show him love and let him create a piece that would tie the space together. Before we got more moved into the space, we actually hadn't painted the walls. And so we decided to have a piece that could feel like it was filling up the space and adding color. We also have these beautiful chairs by Lulu in Georgia. We knew we wanted to mix and match because, again, balance. So there's chairs here that are more aesthetically pleasing and beautiful, and then the comfy ones.
The nice
so something for
functionality.
Tammy, something for me. Yeah.
These chairs feel like mini couches.
Absolutely.
They're absolutely amazing.
Yeah. And then for our centerpiece, we actually got this from a studio in Cape Town while we were visiting a designer, Emily for Shelligans.
Yep.
It's just all of her pieces are based off of pieces or shells that you might find when you're walking on the shore.
Yeah, if you ever have the chance to visit Cape Town, swing by her shop. It's amazing, but
brilliant.
Also the property/farm that she lives on is
just
beautiful
gorgeous
as
and
well.
everything I would like to do with my life. But we literally walked in, saw it, and I told Tammy, I need this.
Yeah,
we have
it's
to
gonna
leave with
happen.
this. So we actually paid for this centerpiece. She shipped it in a crate, and we hadn't even moved in yet. We kept it in the crate in our last apartment until we moved here, and it was the first thing that we put out. I mean, once our dining table finally arrived, which Tammy picked this dining table out. Because he loved the shape of it and the design of it.
Yeah, we used to have like a large 8-person cedar dining table, and for this home, it just didn't feel like that was needed with everything being so close to each other.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And because the space is not properly separated, we wanted to make sure that they still felt distinct.
Yeah, they each had their own
little corner, lush
little
corner.
nook.
So we have this 4-seater, so it's super intimate and feels super good. And we set the table because we didn't know if you guys were, gonna stay and have a little something to eat. I don't know. If you're hungry,
bakery.
we have something here for you.
My favorite piece.
The love of his life, outside of me, and Yeah.
So I definitely wanted to make sure that the bar kind of gave an upper echelon hotel kind of vibe to it. So I did a lot of research onto bar carts that kind of upgrade your home, per se. So we actually got this from
Jonathan Adler.
And it's crazy because we're not actually people who drink.
We don't drink at home. I'll have a glass of wine. Sometimes we'll have it over dinner, but we don't really drink unless we have friends over, which I know you probably think, that's crazy with all that they have, but we have to keep it fully stocked because we love to have people in our house.
This portion right here, nice to make drinks off, drinks on while people enjoy the living room or the dining space or in the kitchen.
Yeah, it actually really comes in really handy because we need as much surface area as possible when we have people over. So then when we pop this out, we can make a couple of drinks.
Pass it around.
Yeah, put whiskey on the rocks. Is that what the guys do? And then we're good to go. Or the girls, because I heard there's different preferences with what the people like these days. But yeah, I think it's such a great multifunctional bar cart. And again, like a great balance of both of our energy. It's just so beautiful, but then it has so many components to it.
It's functional in its use, but it's also functional in its timelessness.
Yeah.
I mean, this will probably be with us for the rest of our lives.
Absolutely. Super timeless. And we were thinking about that as we were sourcing items. How can we be intentional? Will this last in any space that we go into? I think our design preferences are like maximalist mixed with like Japanese flavor mixed with like also a lot of modern energy.
Yeah, a lot of Afro energy as well.
Absolutely. So we wanted to make sure that the pieces that we pulled or bought were able to kind of speak to all of those. And then of course the top of the bar cart has a wide variety of options. It is also like a little display as well. Yeah.
You got your non-alcoholic, alcoholic.
Yeah. And we also will then wipe this when people come over clean. We'll like, move everything off, and we'll often like do cocktails here or have hors d'oeuvres here or charcuterie. Really depends on the vibe. But there's so much that we get to do with this part of the house. This is little nook that we have.
Yeah, own space.
Absolutely.
And next we have these bar stools from First Dibs. Another one of my many favorite pieces in the house. The seat is small, but it's so comfortable to actually sit in. I love to just sit here, get a bunch of work done for most of the day.
And Temi thought a lot about how, because I was really big on just getting really cute bar stools, again, that just looked good and felt good. But Temi actually had read an article about how you can elevate your space by treating your bar area as if you were at an actual bar.
Yep.
And so when we thought about what kind of chairs we wanted, he really landed on a color and a vibe that will reflect that, something that you might actually find at your local neighborhood bar.
It just makes me feel like the kind of bar where I could sit down and get a drink, but also get some work done.
Absolutely.
We work from home so much. So
oh my gosh. So we like to spread out. We really work in every single room. But then also we yap a lot. So when he's cooking breakfast or I'm cooking breakfast, the other person is chilling on the bar stools,
talking it up,
typing, or talking away. Yeah. We also have some really great vintage thrifted pieces here, from everything from our cutting boards to these cinnamon and sugar shakers, even these travertine holders. We really love to play around with how we're mixing things into the space so that it feels like it's been lived in, and not everything is brand new. Also, Temi loves to save his money. I spend the money, but he likes to save it. So it's great to do that because I also love to thrift.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So the way we found this townhouse was we were ready to move out of our last home, and Brooklyn is so competitive nowadays. To really dig in and find what you want, you have to be on Street Easy, Zillow.
Up until odd hours of the morning. Yeah, it was aggressive for a minute because we knew in our last apartment, it was just a 2-bedroom and it was not enough space. At a certain point, Temi was losing his mind because he could not find all his clothes because they were under boxes and bags, and it was just...
I just started wearing the same thing.
Yeah,
like a rotation
there's
of
no
3 fits
creative expression, and so that was our excuse to get a bigger house. We were like, we need to find our clothes. We need to see all our clothes laid out. So we wanted to find a spot that was big enough for the both of us to really feel like we could move around. And then also so that like a backyard, we love to host. So having somewhere where people could really spread out and feel like they're at home
they're
was
in
important.
The area, they just come slide through.
And we knew Bed-Stuy was somewhere we wanted to stay. We've stayed on the cusp of like Bed-Stuy and Bushwick before, but Bed-Stuy we just are in love with, and it's just like the best place ever. Our community's here, so we wanted to find an apartment in the area, and so we were up late. At 1 in the morning.
I had gone to bed.
And I patted him away. I said, get up, it's time to activate. So we literally hit up the owner that night, and we were like, we'll come and see it in the morning. We had our paperwork ready to go.
And
we came and saw, they immediately in the morning, they were like, come through, 8 a.m. So we found it at 1 a.m., went to see it at 8 a.m., put our paperwork in by 9 a.m., and we're locked by 10. We were not playing any games with this apartment.
Like, just good to go.
Yeah.
It was really a blessing. Like, at that moment, when we were ready to re-sign at the place we already were, like, this gift of a home came to us. Now the part of the house that has my heart.
Because he loves to eat. That's why it has his heart. Yeah, and I'm not mad at it. It's just such a beautiful space.
Yes.
We wanted to keep it pretty simple in here because we're doing so much in the living room and the dining room. There's a lot of energy and personality to those spaces. And because the kitchen can get very, I think, dirty pretty quickly or just messy really quickly, we didn't want to have too much on the counter space. I think also we were scarred from our last apartment. We had no counter space.
None.
Everything was on the counters. It was a mess. So we were like, no, we need to actually peel it back a bit and keep it really light. So we have a lot of really strong, I think, pieces in here, but that are really subtle. So we have our Christina Martinez piece, as well as another Daymore piece.
Our good cacti that we've had for about 2 years now.
Yes, and it's been through some things, but we put it in this really beautiful cobalt blue planter to bring some color to the space, along with the stool. My favorite stool that I was telling you guys about, that is just the best. All right, that's the best ever. We just have a lot of lighter pieces. I think this is definitely the more minimal part of our downstairs area. Yeah.
Minimal, but also brings a level of peace. Has a lot of room to, whether you want to put your laptop, tablet down while you cook a meal.
Just because it's a little bit, it's a beautiful kitchen with space, but it can get tight pretty quickly. When you start to bring the pans out and the cutting boards out, you still want to be able to move around and host. We like for people to be able to come in here and lean around. So
chill.
Yeah, and we learned the hard way what it looks like when you're like stuffing things into the kitchen. But we've been thinking about actually maybe putting a wallpaper or of some sort on this wall to add a little bit of flavor. You will also see, as you move through the kitchen, especially, a lot of pieces that we actually source when we're traveling, because we're not really big into like cheesy souvenirs and knickknacks when we travel. So we'll bring back bowls and cups, because I love cups.
She loves cups so much.
Tammy's tired of the cups, but he actually got me cups for my birthday yesterday.
Yeah,
so that
really
was
nice
so
ones.
fun. And so this area, I'm going to give it to Tammy because it's his pride and joy, but we have tea from Portugal and we have Japanese teacups. We really have it, or coffee cups that we have. There's so much, variety to our space over here. And then the star of this corner, which is Tammy's espresso machine.
My Breville espresso machine. So I started actually drinking coffee maybe about 5 years ago. One of our good friends, some of our good friends, Kasim and Chandler, they constantly drank Dunkin' Donuts coffee every morning. And so that was my nice little introduction to coffee. And then I started to dibble and dabble in it and found some that I really like. So I really love Blue Bottle Coffee espresso beans. I do the decaf for Skylar because she's not really a caffeine fiend like that. Yeah. But yeah, I just really have come to love the process. It's kind of part of my morning routine. Get up in the morning, stretch, come down, take my time making a nice cup of espresso, sometimes mixing in some milk. We love Chobani creamer right now. That's definitely our go-to. But yeah, this is just a nice way for me to de-stress or just kind of wake up my body and my mind before getting our day started.
And we start our day outside of journaling in the dining room. We will often come straight to the kitchen. He gets his coffee, I get my tea, which we have a large array of, and we'll just like chill in here. I think that's also why we kept it really light in here, because there's so much light and we just wanted it to feel like beautiful and airy and calming in this space, as opposed to like an onslaught for your senses.
It's a really beautiful way to wake up.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We also have just knickknacks throughout the space. These beautiful measuring cups. We get a lot of pieces from Etsy. So you'll see, I'll try to call them out, but these we got from Etsy, and I'm such a fan because they're just so beautiful. And we have serving spoons that are also in the same design. Again, different thrifted cutting boards and bowls, just things that like I'll see and make me feel good. So I'm like, we need it in the kitchen.
Yeah, we keep this Japanese hand fan
in the kitchen.
In the kitchen. It's nice to just see. And I remember the exact moment we got it. It's just nice to see like small reminders of where we've traveled to and where we've been, and the memories associated with it.
Absolutely. And I think that it's so cool because then immediately you're taken back to that space and kind of transported in a really cool way.
Yeah. When it comes to our home, we make sure to sprinkle plants and living things throughout it. Outside of Momo, it just kind of adds to the life of the building.
Yeah, absolutely. It helps it breathe a little easier.
It doesn't feel like we're living in a museum.
Right, exactly. And it just adds so much, I think like, It adds so much ambiance to a room, and I feel like especially with the florals that we choose, we work with a florist, especially for these florals, olive florals, and she chooses artsy florals that are reflective of the decor that we have in our home. And then the plants that we have, which are, we've really tried to keep alive and keep going.
Snake plants, money plants.
Cacti, it's all just
Ficus
really,
audrey,
it just adds, again, another layer to the space that's been really fun to play with.
And if you have a plant, there's no better feeling than
keeping it alive.
And
seeing it flourish,
seeing it flourish and seeing it grow over time.
And I will say, in this home, our plants have flourished the most. Mm-hmm. We've seen them grow in ways unimaginable, especially with our banana tree plant in the. Is it a banana tree plant?
The Birds of Paradise.
Goodness gracious.
With our Birds of Paradise, we've seen it grow for sure. It was about yay big when we first got it, and now it towers over me.
Absolutely.
And you'll see it upstairs. We have a Ficus audrey that was shocked when it came into the house.
Yeah.
The leaves were falling. It was almost branch or leafless.
I said, same sis, but then we filled up the space and then she got right. And so did I. It was like, it's a good balance. So yeah, it's been really cool to bring a lot of plants into space. And actually we got a little carried away at some point, but the fun part about this home is there's many rooms that we can shove them all into. And they're right in front of big, beautiful windows that kind of let all that light in to keep them alive. Yeah.
Well, this is our wall of souvenirs.
That actually is what it is. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad we have a name now. When we moved in, we were like, what are we going to do with this space? Mm-hmm. And I like for things to just look beautiful so that when you're looking around, you're taking everything in. So we actually decided to cram all of these beautiful pieces from all over the world into this space. So we have another Maya Beverly piece, this beautiful little face that she actually gifted us when we bought her other two pieces for our living room space, which was really sweet. And then it just adds such a little face to the space. Yeah. And speaking of little faces, we also have these beautiful bowls from Mexico City that were tough. They were tough to get because Temi thought they were a little scary looking, but I think they're so precious. Look at their little scrunched up faces.
I'm not trying to have something look back at me.
It's me with an attitude, so I understand why he has an aversion.
We have these bottles of wine from Portugal, our second home. We love Portugal so much. I don't remember the exact name of the cafe we were at, but we had these glasses and we were like, please, can we go home with 2 bottles?
Absolutely.
Here at the bottom, some of my favorite cups from Japan.
We got these while they're vintage pieces that we got from a store called Vase along the Maguri River.
Yep.
And in Tokyo. And they just had a wide selection of glasses that were all handmade by the shop. And it was just gorgeous. We knew we had to leave with a few, and there are such great conversation pieces. But then, if you want a little glass of wine, they're really great for that too. Much. Absolutely.
We also have some more glasses from Sophie Lou here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and then thrifted pieces. Yeah. So we actually found these in Brooklyn. Down the street, there was a church that used to be it always had a big antique sale. If you've lived in Brooklyn for long enough, you know about it. It recently actually closed down, which I'm really sad about because the guy who sold the pieces for the church actually went to estate sales upstate and then would bring them back on a truck and sell it here, which is just like my heaven. So I got so many great pieces, and I remember sending a picture of these to Temi and going, we need these, right? And he never says no. He's always like, absolutely, of course we do. And then at the very, very top, we have champagne glasses from Soho Home. We love Soho Home's overall aesthetic, and how they use texture and color and all the things to layer a space. So we figured, why not get some beautiful glasses from them as well? And we've actually only broken these out maybe once or twice, so we need to use these more, actually. This is a great excuse. We'll probably pop a bottle after this. What are you thinking?
I'm liking it.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
When it comes to the design layout of our home, we have a total of 4 levels. We have our living room, kitchen, bathrooms, of course. We have our vinyl room, bedroom. We have a content room, a guest bedroom.
We have a basement, which was just a heaven send because it has storage, and we had no storage in our last apartment. Oh my gosh, no one talks about how in New York City you will find a beautiful apartment, but there will be no closets, or there will be no space.
Or you'll have to bring your own, you bring your own dresser.
Oh my gosh, we can't go back now. And then we also have a backyard, a beautiful backyard with a patio that goes down to a lower level where we have grass for Momo to run around in. When it came to filling up the space, we knew we wanted it to we wanted people to be able to flow room to room. I'm really big into feng shui, into how energy moves through a space,
and how a room makes you feel.
And how it makes you feel. And we wanted people to feel like our home was an extension of us, of our energy. And we like to think we're warm and welcoming. How are y'all feeling right now? I don't know. Let us know. So we were talking about, okay, well, how can we play and how can we bring a lot of like maximalist, heavy texture, color, like modern, but then also a lot of Japanese inspired design. There's like no rules. There's no rules with our space. It was just whatever feels good.
How do we make things, not only beautiful, but also functional as well?
Absolutely. It's meant to be like a retreat for the creative spirit. And so both for us, so that when we come home from working or shooting or traveling, we're excited to come home. But then also for when people come into our home, they feel like, oh, I've been here before, or this feels really familiar.
Like we want it to feel like a home away from home, but also I guess with the upkeep of a hotel almost.
We talk a lot about how Temi loves functionality, and then I love aesthetic and design. So we always have to compromise with the pieces that we've selected for every room, and you guys will see that as we move from room to room, how we are really intentional about something looking beautiful, but then also feeling comfortable or making sense.
Yeah, that's why we have this couch and there's not a hole in the ground right
Absolutely.
You wanted a conversation pin?
Yeah, so we couldn't get a conversation pin, so what makes sense? And so there's so many things that it was definitely a back and forth conversation. There's a lot of masculine and feminine energy in the space because we wanted to make sure both of us were represented, and then just colors that make you feel good and evoke a lot of inspiration, so that when we look around our space, we can feel like we're getting inspired and able to create beautiful work. Okay, so then tucked off into this nook.
Imagine it's a party, nice little barbecue.
Yeah, you're having a good time. You need to dip off to go to the bathroom, and then you ask us, oh, where's the bathroom? Well, come follow me, it's over here. And so we decided to actually create a really cozy bathroom because it's so small. We wanted to bring in really warm, welcoming walls. So we got this paint from Backdrop to match our Uzo art piece. Uzo Njoku is a brilliant artist. Temi loved this piece because it feels like how our space feels when we host people. We have in this corner, because it was so bare bones, we actually changed the mirror and then added in, of course, the Loewe body lotion and tomato leaves liquid soap. It's a fan favorite. People love for their hands to smell like tomato leaves, which we didn't know would be such a, people would rave in that way. And then we also added a skirt to the bottom of the sink to cover up the bottom, to kind of give it some added, personality and make it feel a little bit cozier in here, which we love, absolutely. We have our bedroom, which is
where we start our day and end our days.
Oh my gosh, and it's my favorite place ever. I told Temi, this is the best bedroom I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, I mean, starting off with the CB2 bed frame.
Absolutely, it's our first king bed. We had a queen in our last apartment. Again, a very small apartment.
Once you have a king size bed.
Yeah, you don't ever want to go back. You never want to go back. So we wanted to keep it really minimal in here. There's a lot of Japanese influence in this space as well, with how light we kept it. The biggest actually focal point of this room outside of the bed, I'd say, is the walls.
Yeah, the lime wash on the walls.
Yeah.
It took a few attempts to get it exactly to where we wanted it to be, but the zen in the room. Like
Feels
when you
so
walk
good.
in,
Yeah.
it feels so good.
And we knew we wanted to not only do the walls, but the ceiling, so it feels really immersive. So the lime wash, because it looks like clouds, also feels like at night when you're looking up, a little sky in and of itself. The paint is actually from Portola Paints. They have a really great lime wash, and I was so excited to try it. It did take us a few times until we got it right, but we did get it right. And we knew for the bed, we wanted it to feel like a hotel bed.
Yeah, that's why well, I'll tell you. You go ahead and tell your secret for the comforter.
Oh yes, I do a double comforter. Now for my heavy and hot sleepers,
Yeah.
I understand that might feel like a lot, but we just kind of coordinate depending on the season. We wanted it to feel really lush because we travel so much and we're always in a hotel bed, and it would suck to leave a hotel bed and not want to go home and see a regular bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best thing about some hotels out there are the options to choose between anywhere between 3 to 10 different kinds of pillows. So on each side of our beds, we have 3 different kinds of pillows depending on how we feel like sleeping.
Absolutely. The more, the merrier. We love pillows. And then they're also a wide variety. So we have a softer and firmer pillow. Again, just so that we feel like we're somewhere really nice and lush.
Like that bed. I think it's Serrata. I think it's a Serrata bed.
Oh, right. Temi chose the mattress. Because of the two of us, I think he's the pickier sleeper, which I can respect because it means that no matter what he chooses, I will be comfortable.
Because I run hot, so I needed a bed that would kind of keep me cool.
Absolutely.
So yeah, there's that.
And so we have the bed as a really cozy piece, but then also this entryway, or not entryway, but this bench here, our fuzzy bench that we actually use as kind of a bottom portion to our projector. So we don't have a TV in here, as you can tell, but we have a sneaky little projector that we put out at night or when we're wanting to watch a movie. We're really big on not having a lot of tech so close to us while we're sleeping. So Momo, come say hello to the people. So we have this kind of area clear. We were gonna put art here, but we left it empty so that we could have the projector here. And then we also have this beautiful rug from West Elm that is just really warm and inviting.
It's
it added
thick
such
as you walk on
Yeah,
it,
it's
and it's
like-
just really, really
it
nice.
just feels so good on your feet, which I love. This area is great because it acts as storage. We do have a closet, but we knew we needed more space. We have a lot of clothes, y'all. Tons of
too many.
clothes. This dresser is actually from Urban Outfitters. We found it and it just felt timeless for us. We wanted something that we knew we could move into any room
It
as
fit
we moved
perfectly into this space, like
yeah, it
this
was almost
nook
like
in the wall.
uncanny.
Yeah.
And then the centerpiece here is this Noemi Marguerite piece. She's also a good friend of ours. This is not a wedding we went to or our wedding. It is just a beautiful snapshot of life. And I think having that in this very zen space feels like the right amount of energy.
Yeah, the way the image is shot, it feels like you are there.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we also have another great Black artist, Hill and Daniel fragrances for the room. We also have Malin and Getz, so we kind of play around with what scent we want in the room. I'm a big candle and incense girly.
She is. My mom actually got her like a Malin and Getz candle box set a few years ago for Christmas.
A woman after my own heart.
After that, she never turned back.
I never turned back. And then we also have, which is really important to us, we don't have a lot of heirlooms that we were given, so we've started to kind of collect our own, and this has kind of become one, I feel like.
Yeah, this was at our old apartment. We got some...
Can you guess what it is? Whose hands these are?
Yeah, so we actually got a little...
casting kit.
Yeah, casting kit, and it was a little date night at the house where we spent our time holding each other's hands in some
in
plaster.
a really soft and intimate way. Yeah. And it was meant to be a jewelry holder, actually. We wanted it to, again, be functional and beautiful. But now it's just like a really sweet portion of this space, along with, of course, our jewelry box, this beautiful plant, and this pot I love so much because it adds a lot of great texture to this area. We kept it really cute, though, because we didn't want it to feel too busy in here. It's where we relax.
And then we have the diva of the show, our Ficus Audrey plant. We knew we wanted a tree. We have the queen, our Ficus Audrey plant.
Yeah, she's almost as much of a drama queen as I am, I'd say.
We knew we wanted a tree in the room, but when we were looking at different trees that we could go for, the Ficus Audrey was the closest thing to being a tree that wasn't actually a tree. She's extremely temperamental, so sun, watering, like,
I get it. I get it, sister.
Two peas in a pod.
Absolutely, we are. And Temi knows how to take care of both of us. That's what it's all about. Yeah. But again, we wanted something that added some life to the space. We didn't want to do too much. It's just really a great place for us to chill out, and it's really reflective, I think, in the colors and the vibe that we've brought into this room.
Yeah.
So because we were kind of going for a hotel vibe in this room, we also, beyond the bed, decided to keep it pretty neutral for the side tables. These are also from Urban Outfitters, and we sourced these lamps to kind of balance it. These are some Japanese lamps that we brought in, but we wanted it to we both have our sides. We have, remember, this is my side, that's Tami's side, but they're pretty inconspicuous. You really can't tell whose is whose, which is kind of fun when everything's all, you know, cleaned up. So on either side of the bed as well, we both love to read, and that's usually how we end our nights. Outside of journaling, I would say. So we have on my end my creativity book. I literally have been trying to read this forever. It's called The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. I've been trying to get through it for a while now. Tami and I have both been taking cracks at this book. And then on Tami's side, he has...
Yeah, I am not a nonfiction lover. It takes time for me to get through those books, but I can finish like a 600-page fantasy novel in 2 days. But I have The Age of Ideas, but then I also have the Kindle. We're bringing the Kindle back. I love just being how light it is, how I'm able to store literally my whole library in here. Outside of this book, I'm also reading Fourth Wing. When it comes to how we work with one another, especially when it came to filling up this home, I think there was more conceding on my part.
I was going to say the same thing. Tami adores me. So he actually lets me get away with havoc. Yeah. I'm also obsessed with interior design. So he knows that this is my dream is to be able to do this on the side or even for friends and family. So there were definitely design decisions I made that I was like, hey, choose between these two decisions, so that he could feel very involved. But then, you know, the decision had been made. Either way, I'm very, very happy. Now, there have been some things that we've sprinkled into the space that he has loved. You'll see in the office, he has his Akira book set. That was a no-brainer. It's a love of his and something that made sense. But that I was like, oh, wouldn't be my first choice, but it's my man. He wants to do it. The bar cart. Yeah. I mean, but
that's like a happy medium.
Absolutely.
That's very striking.
There's
that we both love.
Yeah, exactly. There's pieces in the space that I feel like we were like, yes.
The
easily.
art, you know.
Our art.
But also it's like, you know, you get the furniture, I get the technology.
Absolutely.
You know?
So that was actually the thing that I said, it doesn't matter. We have a Samsung frame TV, and so that was my only thing. My only thing I was like, okay, I need this
but
for
outside
the house.
Of, like, you know, speakers through the house, Alexa throughout the building, smart house. Literally, we're taking it back to Disney Channel.
Security. Yeah. It's all Tami. I said, you've got it. I trust you with all that. Also, he stays up to date on that. When it comes to when we shoot, Tami takes care of the tech, so I said there should be no difference in our house. Just teach me how to do it. And then when it comes to me, I'm really big on buying tons of books, tons of just like beautiful, striking pieces that when Tami sees them, he's like, what is that? And like, what does it do? And I'm like, that's the point. It doesn't really do anything. It's just like vibes. There are pieces that I think you can tell are a beautiful marriage between what we love, and then pieces that are definitely more reflective of myself versus him. Yeah. But it's really cool to have both, because then it balances the space really well. I think that every piece that has ended up in the space has been super intentional. So we have here our beautiful bathroom space, another really minimal, light and airy part of the house. Again, it can get messy very quickly, so we've kept it pretty light. And because it's an apartment, we haven't been able to really deconstruct and reconstruct in the way we'd like to, so we've made it warm where we're able. We have his and hers sinks. We have these beautiful red lush rugs that help warm up the space a little bit, especially because we have these more gray kind of walls and floors. On Tami's side, he has, well, actually we both have it. It's pretty similar, but we have the Tekla towels and the Aesop hand balm and hand wash, which we swear by. And then my favorite portion, and Tami's too, I feel like you love the bathtub. Yeah.
Well, actually, I would say my favorite portion would be the walk-in shower, because it doubles as a steam room. So after a workout, I'll go ahead, call Skylar, get the steam room ready. So as soon as I walk through the door.
Absolutely. And then likewise, when I want to take a bath, I call Tami and say, get the bath running. And then I have this. And so we have this great thrifted tabletop here that we use, you know, if I'm working and I'm in the tub, or if I just want a glass of wine and I want to read. A lot of these pieces are also thrifted as well, and it just feels really homey and vintage. On this side of the area, we also have a Dresser, again, the more the merrier when it comes to storage. So on this side of the room, we also have another opportunity for tons of storage. We have a focal piece by Courtney Heron. It just made sense that this piece would go in the bathroom because it literally is the vibe in here. And then just smaller pieces to keep it really soft and warm. Our Able Room spray, some candles, a beautiful vase that we also have in the kitchen.
We have this,
and then the tech, of course.
Yep, this Bang & Olufsen speaker, very aesthetically pleasing, easy to carry.
But then it just looks like a piece of like art almost.
And it fills the
tabletop.
space like sound-wise beautifully.
Yeah, absolutely. You can hear it in the shower, in the steam room, all the things. It's really, really fun. So yeah, this place, I mean, I feel like this part of our home is really light, and because we make an absolute hurricane when we're getting dressed, a tornado of a mess, we keep our bathroom and our bedroom really light and really cute. Doing out there? Come on. We got some more house to see. So this is the vinyl room.
Yes.
This is just like creme de la creme.
Best room in the house.
I mean, damn near. It is just brilliant. And I mean, if we do say so ourselves, we put a lot of thought into this room because we actually wanted it to feel completely different from the other rooms in the house. And I think it does. We have these cobalt blue walls, also from Backdrop.
Art from Fritz
von Erich. Yeah, and I think we actually allowed the art to guide a lot of the decisions we made in this space. We wanted it to feel like you're almost on a funky spaceship listening to like,
you know what it reminds me of? That episode of Love, Death, and Robots.
Absolutely.
Zima Blue, I think.
Absolutely. It's just like so lush. All the colors are rich. And so we wanted to bring in a lot of reds, greens, blues, a lot of primary colors to make this feel like a visually pleasing space.
Yep.
So we have in this section a good mix. The entire room really is a good mix of both music and books because we have tons of books both here and in our office and in our content room.
Yeah, when we travel, we love to collect different countries' jazz. So we have a lot of different kind of jazz vinyls here, a lot of Japanese jazz vinyls. One of my favorite things is the now spinning sign, courtesy of Skylar.
Absolutely. We got that off Etsy. Right now we have playing Grover Washington Jr. I'm a big Motown jazz fan. I just love jazz, and we usually start our day with jazz. Beyond Robert Glasper playing downstairs, we'll often have something playing up here for a vibe. And also during parties, if people want to deck away, this is a really fun room to come to. We have our Crossley player. It does the job. We do want to upgrade at a certain point, but we've had this for a while now, and it's just so beautiful that we've not wanted to get rid of it. And then we also have, again, records that we've collected over time from friends, from travels, and then books, of course, reflective of our travels as well.
We have 2 pseudo libraries. This is one of them.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask, why do we put the backs of the book facing the wall? And honestly, because
it's just a vibe. Yeah, it's just because it looks good. There's no rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
We've read the books that are backwards, so that does help because we are not looking for them. Don't fret. But also, it's just fun. We didn't want the colors to be too overwhelming when people came into the space. So we've actually kept a lot of our Black authors facing, frontwards facing, and then a lot of the books that we've read from fiction books backwards facing. And it's just cool to add a little flavor in that way.
I'll leave you all with a recommendation. If you haven't read this as a youth,
one of Tami's favorite books.
Go ahead and lock in. The Kite Runner is one of the ones.
Well, when we moved in, I feel like we saw this room and we knew that it was likely going to be, it was being posed as an office. It was also mentioned to us, it could be a great place for a child. Yeah. And we were like, not yet. So we wanted somewhere that had a piece of our personality. And the 2 things that we love the most is reading and listening to music. Yeah. And often when we read, we listen to music. So we wanted a place that felt like a vibe, almost like a little, almost like an event space in a way.
We had so many vinyls and it was constantly growing, but we had nowhere really to put them outside of underneath the media cabinet you saw downstairs, and it just didn't feel right.
No, it was almost limiting them. So we were like, let's give the vinyls a place to play and to kind of spread out. This is also somewhere that we come to just like ideate, to get a lot of creative inspiration. We get so much inspiration from the books we read and from the music we listen to, and also from the magazines we read. We were able to add these gorgeous acrylic orange magazine racks with just beautiful pieces. I mean, we have a Japanese magazine that we got while we were there in Tokyo.
We got this one from Japan too.
Absolutely, for Jean-Michel Basquiat, made in Japan. Focus magazine, which is a Black-owned magazine, as well as Curves. And I mean, speaking of Curves, this gorgeous Sean Brown, Curves by Sean Brown rug that literally reflects the space and also tied into Fritz von Erich pieces. So much of the pieces in this space are also
having
in conversation.
conversations.
Yeah, with each other. Yeah, we're locked in. We know the things. We know the things. And then of course a display had to happen with our vinyls. We wanted people to be able to come in and see some of our favorites. And so we've got The Roots. No brainer. Nas, like Jungle. There's just like, we want to also show off our taste in music in a fun way.
We need to add some more so people can really see it.
Well, we often swap them out, so that helps like keep it fresh, and it's really depending on how we feel that month, and we'll switch up the wall. And it also is like art in and of itself on the wall, because I feel like artists put so much love into the vinyl covers that they create that we wanted them to be out as well.
So creation looks very different for both of us in our journey to get there. We've both been creating in different ways. I used to DJ, Sky used to own a clothing company.
Yes, wow, we've come so far.
So far.
Blast from the past.
After school, I started working at Microsoft.
Yep, I started working at BuzzFeed.
Yeah, the 9 to 5 really put my like creative blinders on, to where I wasn't seeing creativity as much.
Whereas I would say, because I was at Parsons for school, I was always kind of had a foot in the creative world. So when we met, I remember going, I remember he told me he was really big into photography, or you just picked up a camera.
Literally had just picked up a camera.
He just picked up a camera, and I remember just wanting to like bring that energy out of him, because I think it's such a great balance to have both a corporate and creative side, because you get a little bit of a mix of both.
Best of both worlds.
Absolutely.
And it was crazy because when we started content creation together, we didn't even mean to do that. I booked a trip for Puerto Rico for her birthday.
And I told him, hey, I know I'm a part of this world of like social media and content creation, and you signed up for me, not this, so you don't have to be a part of this.
Yeah, and I was like, cool, I'm cool to just take some pics right now.
Yeah, and I said, but if you want to take some pictures of me, that's cute. I love that. It was heaven sent.
Because photography started off as a hobby.
Absolutely. And I mean, same for content creation. I started it so that, well, it was really to push into my clothing brand at the time. Not because I really wanted to build a platform for myself, but I think it started to resonate so much with people. You have to kind of listen to your audience and give them what they want. So I leaned into it more.
And the organic growth was the most fun. Like, we were just taking pictures of any and everything. We would go on vacation and
share our experience.
Like pictures we would do anyways to send to our parents. Like, we just posted it online, and it just continued to grow and go from there. And
we thought about like, how can we make our experience accessible to other people who look like us? And that's really what made our content and our platform kind of skyrocket, and it enabled, like empowered us really to create an entire platform off of sharing how we see the world with people. And I think that's now evolved into what we do now.
Yeah, because I think we both love the world outside of the world we live in.
Yeah, wow, nice.
Yeah, like I've loved TV since I was a kid. I've loved anime. I've loved
we're
fantasy
nerds.
fiction.
We're
We are nerds. Like,
yeah.
When it comes to reading, did you have accelerated reader?
Absolutely, I was locked in.
Man.
Yeah.
Accelerated reader, Six Flags, Pizza Hut.
I was getting
little
all the signatures for everything. Yeah.
We love to read, like get lost in like
in
600, 800 page books.
Because we love stories so much, integrating that into our process was the most important thing. And we also found it differentiated us from other creators, and then allowed us a seat at the table with a lot of brands, because they were wanting us to come in on the conversation, like get in on the conversation and share our 2 cents as like consultants or creative directors. So it's been really cool to be able to, what we kind of see is taking the mundane or just life and seeing the beauty of it. My Instagram bio is dedicated to the art of living, because so much of life should be documented and shown in a beautiful way. And I think our content has been able to do that in a way that resonates with people.
Yeah, I think also the great part about it is it can be very, time consuming to do this.
Yes,
but
we put a lot of effort into what we do.
Again, 2 sides of the same coin. We're so good at what we do at this point, and we're so streamlined that I feel like what could take 5 hours might take 1.5 hours for us.
Yeah. Which
allows us to really, one, live in the moment, but also put the cameras away.
Absolutely. So under the this beautiful skylight that we have coming onto the 4th floor, we have this gorgeous piece by Phoenix Palms. We did a collaboration with Etsy, and it was really important for me to pull at least one Black-owned piece. And so Phoenix Palms has a lot of Black pieces that they sell, and this one was just so striking. We were like, no, we absolutely need this. The red is so good on this wall.
Yeah, and almost as striking as the painting itself is this candle from Maison Africanist, Tam Tam.
Yeah, we have a few of their candles in our home.
Smells so good.
Just like really the beautiful minimal design, but then they really smell great. And then this, of course, floating shelf. We wanted there to be pieces that connect each space. And so these do really well of bringing people upstairs and into the final 2 rooms on this tour. So here we have our office space. She's cute.
She's nice.
She's minimal. We knew we wanted it to keep it cute because we just come in here to get stuff done, and we've not actually built it out very much. We have some work to do.
Yeah, we definitely have work to do in here.
Yeah, but we still wanted to show y'all because that's like the real stuff, isn't it? When you're not finished moving in.
Yeah, this whole area itself is stunning.
Yeah.
I know that when you sit down, one of the first things you see is this 6-piece Akira set. We got it out in Japan. It's all actually in Japanese.
Yeah, which is really, really dope.
Spoiler alert, if you plan to watch the movie. But yeah, it's all in Japanese. But if you've seen the movie enough times as I have, you already kind of know and have an idea of what you're reading as you go.
And it was more so about like having almost like a collector's item of like the 6 set series was so cool. I don't even think the owner of the bookshop wanted to let it go, or it was almost like a concept space. And he saw how much Temi loved Akira, and he was like, absolutely, take it. So we were able to leave with it. And then we also have just like little pieces that make us happy. This analog clock that Temi got to that is just so beautiful and adds so much cool energy to this little desk space. And then of course our Instax Mini 40, because we're always capturing all the moments. We're always getting the film moments. Absolutely.
Yep. We have our brain bank
by Danye Taylor, a good friend of ours.
Also, we have our Cape Town book and Lagos Daniel Obasi book from our friend Carl Shakur. It was a actual gift for our housewarming. So beautiful. I'm sorry, you all need to see my homeland.
And then we lost the frame for it, but you know, that's life. We're gonna get a new one, but we had to keep it up. This piece by Jeremy Mitchell, another friend of ours, who knows how much we love Japan, and gifted us this print of his for our housewarming. So shout out to you, Jeremy. We appreciate you so much. We thrifted this little desk cabinet area from Bedford Galleries, which is right here in Brooklyn, and it's just a great space to get some really great antique pieces. And again, we kept it simple in here because there's so much going on downstairs. We were like, the more you move up, we wanted to keep it light. Finally, which I think I'm so proud of, because in our last apartment we didn't have this, a second bedroom for guests. So this is our guest bedroom. It is a little slice of heaven. We wanted to keep it really warm and minimal and just super cozy.
Yeah, people love it here. People really love it here. We'll have friends come over
and they do not want to leave.
It'll
this
be
bed.
like 3 p.m. and we're like, hey, where's such and such at?
Absolutely,
in
yeah.
that bed.
So we tend to change the color of the setup based on the season so that people really, really feel at home. We have in this corner another thrifted vintage side table that just adds a lot of warmth to the space. And on top is Black is Beautiful by Kwame Braithwaite. Such a great book. And we wanted to bring up some of our coffee table books from downstairs, so they have something to read while they're up here as well. And usually before someone comes up, we make sure the bed is done, the lights are on, we'll light a candle, and then everything in the bathroom is fully stocked. It's literally like staying in a hotel. It's the pride of our life, to be quite honest.
We often encourage people, once you're done, to head out, like fully done. Go ahead and help yourself to anything in the bathroom, and then we try to stock it up every time we're done.
Absolutely. And then we've made sure to keep on the bedside, for the people who didn't make it to our housewarming, our La Dolce Casa custom matches that we got for our housewarming. And on the back, you're able to, every time you visit, mark off one of these little wine bottles so that by the time you get all of them marked off, you get a sweet treat from us. No one has brought it back to us, so they need to get on their Zoom, but we keep it for our guests who stay in here because if you weren't able to make it to the housewarming, you can still get a little piece of it.
Yeah.
And that is it.
That's it. Thank you so much, y'all, for coming. We appreciate you, and it's time for you to leave.
I'm screaming! For me, home is about somewhere that is just safe and a constant. Growing up, I dealt with a lot of anxiety, and my mom, I was surprised when my mom was so eager about me coming up to New York for school because I was full of anxiety and I figured she'd want me to be up under her. And she was saying, no, you know, we've created a home for you to always come back to, somewhere that is going to be consistent, that you can find solace in, and that will always be there. And I think as we've built our home, that's what I've wanted to create for us, is somewhere that we can return to and feel immediately safe in, where we can kind of like strip back the layers and get really comfortable and feel so deeply at home within ourselves in this space. So I feel like that is what home is to me.
Yeah, for me, home is really a refuge.
Yeah, right.
It's a place where I can continue to grow. I can truly be my 100% authentic self. And then the people that I bring into my home are the people that I can be 100% my authentic self with. Mm-hmm. It's just really my safe space. It's my, space for me to experiment, whether it's with foods, styles, literature. It's a place where, I can really lay myself bare and evolve into the person that I want to be.
Yeah, and I think that we've kind of taken those two definitions of home and brought them together in a way that makes all the sense, so that anyone who steps in here is like, wow, this feels like really, really good.
This feels like my home. Mm-hmm. Our Homeworthy, it's been fun, but we got to get going.
Absolutely. See ya.
Stay safe.
Thanks for watching. Go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content and shopping guides.